I've got it. Welcome to your journeys as well as seeing what mine's about. Anyhow, this is just a few slides on my journey to start off with. So basically on the first slide, you can see my journey started in 2015. That was when I first decided that I was going to start looking into trying to lose some weight. So if we go to the next slide. So my next slide, basically, as it says there, I started my journey. And from here, I was at 182 kilos. I went to the weight management nurse because I was struggling. Wasn't very well. I started with her after speaking to the doctor and managed to lose 10 kilos. But that was a serious struggle over the 2 years. Once I'd approached the doctor and he referred me, I thought, you know, I'd start losing weight as soon as I could. I found I was struggling, couldn't lose the weight, so I decided to speak to the doctor and said I was interested in bariatric surgery. He agreed that this was really good because I was at a point where I was feeling unwell. Like I say, there it's stress, chronic pains in my knees. My knees were terrible. I got to a point where just walking to work was a struggle. Just driving, anything like that was just an absolute struggle. I was struggling with my job because at that point I was doing a bit of maintenance and asset management, going to site to site. And again, on there it says that I was struggling because I was crawling around the house. Sometimes I got up, my feet were that sore, I couldn't stand on the back of my heels. Next slide. So my next step then was August 2018. I was then referred from my doctor and the nurse at the doctor's to the weight management team up in Tongmore. From there, I spent 6 months with them. I did lose a further, it says 165 kilos I was there. I probably sort of teetering around 5 to 10 kilos. It was just, I got to a point where I just couldn't lose any more. No matter how I tried and no matter what I did the all start like everybody else, but that comes to a point where it doesn't seem to work as good. So the photo you've got there is me 2 months before, inaptly eating a cream cake by the looks of that. That may just have been a one-off because I was trying to lose weight, I do promise. From there, come around about January, we was referred to the Salford Royal Bariatric team. This was where I then thought I'm actually going to be doing something. Things are moving forward. Life could start getting better, and I did say could because you still, even at that point, I was a bit weary of would this go ahead. But I did get to a point where I felt I'm on my way, especially when we started seeing this, you know, the psychiatric nurse, or you know, the nurses and people were doing your weight and managing and speaking to people. And then when I first had my first visit to the hospital, I met this lovely lady called Jodie. And as I've put on there, this is when it really hit for me, because I sat in a room after I'd done all my weight and all my measurements. And then Jodie said to me, "This is the biggest you'll ever be." And I felt so, just her saying that to me it stuck with me, as it says on there. It stuck with me. And I think from there, that was when I felt things were going to change, and they started to change. So if we go to the next slide. From there, whippy-woo, I had my operation. Operation date was 15th of May, just after my birthday. So I was actually booked in for a week before that, and I'd gone on the slowest drinking diet, which wasn't too bad, to be fair. You had to watch what you was eating in fats and sugars and you know, basically watching the protein so that you didn't put weight onto your liver. But I was eating more. You could have the veg and you could have the salad, and I was eating more of that, which actually now, before I didn't like it, now I do. In fact, my wife thinks I'm a bit strange because I started eating salad. I was one of those that turned around and said it was rabbit food. Well, do you know what? It's not rabbit food. It is good stuff now. So I had an operation, 15th of May. That picture was about 3 weeks after, but you can actually see I've lost weight on there. You drastically start losing weight, seriously start losing weight straight away. After that, you then start on this, it's like a liquid diet. So it is what it said, it's liquid. It's not all clear soups and all stuff like that. It's liquid. It's basically nothing lumpy. 3 weeks of that, which is a little bit soul destroying, to be fair, but it's pointing in the right direction. Things start to change from there. From there, on to 3 weeks later, a little bit easier because we could start having things like mash, which was a bit more substance, but really were let down. So we're on mushed foods now, pureed foods. So, you know, just basically anything again that's not porous or quite chunky that can get stuck. And that's 3 weeks of that. And that's quite, that is a bit of a breath of fresh air after 3 weeks of liquid, believe me. But again, from there, 3 weeks after that, we can start on soft foods, and we started on the soft foods. Again, I think that opened me up. I think I was having Weetabix. I found Weetabix was really nice. And I think you start to find different foods that you probably wouldn't have eaten before. And you start looking for foods that are within the 3 and 5, which is the fats and the sugars, watching what you eat from there per 100 gram. And believe me, there's a lot out there, which I don't think you realise when you're on your first, when you're leading up to your operation, and you're just on your diets. You don't realise what there is out there, because now you're centred on making sure that you have those. So if we go to the next slide. September 2019, that's me in Cyprus. Quite good. I was down to 124.6 kilograms. My knees were getting better, so much, a lot better. At my point, I was thinking, one of the things I wanted to do is, after my operation, I wanted to get to a point where I could then lose all the weight, and then through work go and get my knees done, because my knees are in such a poor state. I've not had anything done with it, and I don't no longer get too many problems with my knees. Still get the odd twinge because I have got a little bit of arthritis, but it's gone. I'm now at a point where I don't have to do anything with my knees, which is good. At this point, the CPAP machine, I was on that. I was managed to get off that come September. I gave that back because I didn't need it. Blood pressure tablets reduced. Not long after that, I didn't have blood pressure tablets. They were taken off me. Pre-diabetic, no longer. That had gone. My rate had dropped right down below 40. Another few tablets that I've got, I've just gone off. I used to have gout, and I probably still do to a certain extent, which is just the build-up of acid. I'm now off that tablet, and I'm not on that no more either. So that's gone. I am on other tablets, which are all good tablets: vitamins, minerals, vitamin B12, all the things that are actually doing me some good. So I think I'm down to one drug tablet, as I call it, and that's a statin. And I believe that isn't that it's worth having that one. And I don't think you can come off it, to be fair, as well. But I'm no doctor. At this point, I've got a bike. I'm out on my bike quite regular. both me and my wife. And I still do that quite a lot now. I'm out on my bike as much as I can. I've been out today and I've done 20 miles. Now that was, I didn't see that. I didn't do that before. One of the good things is when I went to Cyprus, I was able to fasten my seatbelt, which it really meant something. And you guys will probably agree, quite a lot of you that's been on a plane, I wasn't forcing that seatbelt in where I'm trying to force it in that hole, and it made me feel so good. And you know, the fact that there was plenty of room. So if I go to my next slide. So weight, that's me. I've got a bit of a jump, unfortunately, because we're all in lockdown and didn't take much pictures because we're at home. But that's me, 82.6 kilos. Wow, amazing. I mean, I look at some of these pictures now where I look at my old pictures and I don't recognize myself, and you guys won't. You just won't recognize yourself when you look in the mirror. It's still tempting to pick up food. To be fair, I'm now 2 years and 3 months in. My weight is maintained at 80 kilos. I get the cravings, but I'm still not hungry. I don't get hungry. Still don't get hungry. And generally, I don't really get thirsty. There's just the odd time, which that's one thing you've got to keep on top of, making sure you keep drinking your drink when you've finished, which I've got here. So you just always have a drink with you. This photo has helped me, and I've put on there, I have an Alexa show, and I don't know whether some people have it. It's just a screen that flicks around, and I see some of the pictures that flick on of myself, and then I see this picture come on after, and I think, you know, wow, what a transformation. And if you're seeing that yourself, then it's unbelievable. Otherwise, next photo, and you'll get my up-to-date me. So this is me. I'm now at my goal weight, 80 kilos, where I feel comfortable and maintain checking each week. So each week I check my weight, have a look at my weight. If I've gone slightly over, the following week I watch what I eat again. If I've gone under, I then start to have things like a handful of nuts. I'll up my milk intake and just have that little bit more to bring it back up, because I know where I want to be, and this is where I want to be. I want to be at 80 kilos, and that's where I aim to stay, hopefully for the rest of my life. I've done this change now, and that's where I want to keep where I am. One of the things that this does, you have this operation, and this isn't a be all and an end all. It's a tool, and that's what when you do this operation, you'll find out they will actually say this to you. It's a tool. You've got to use that tool, and that tool at the beginning will lose loads of weight, and you'll get rid of all your weight. But at the end of it, it starts to come back, and if it starts to creep back, you've got to make sure that you follow using that tool, sticking to your 3 and 5, sticking to what you eat. I still have a side plate, and that's what I have. That's what I eat off. No matter what, that side plate is always my plate. No bigger plates. It's always that plate. Same with my bowl. I have a small bowl, and that's what I eat, and that's enough. I've no need to go beyond what I'm eating from there. Again, on there it says I'm only taking statins, plenty of vitamins and minerals. Just to finish off, my fitness is now fantastic. I do around about 200 miles a week, which is about 40 miles a day. And do you know what? I feel brilliant, and I don't want to go back. And I just hope that you guys end up feeling how I feel, and you start to begin to be feeling fantastic. So that's really a bit about me. But I can always, you know, we're going to have a chat after. If you want to ask me some questions, I can be a bit more direct in what I answer. So that's me. Thank you for listening.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle. I kind of like Stuart. I started my journey at about 198.2 kilograms. I would join different weight loss groups, and I would lose I lost up to 6 stones at one time with Weight Watchers. But I did Slimming World. Then I would put it all back. I would stop going and I would put it all back on and then some. And probably most of you can relate to that yo-yo cycle. I was like Stuart in that I had so much knee pain, and basically I had to crawl up the stairs in my own home to get to bed at night. It got like so bad that I was taking the 3 or 4 steps from my living room to my kitchen, and it was excruciating. Um, my heart struggled to work right, and I was hospitalized for 18 days with atrial fibrillation, then was diagnosed with heart failure. That's when it got really, really serious for me. It became all about I needed to lose the weight for my health if I was going to keep living, actually. Um, I eventually lost my job that I had at a chemist because I was kept fainting or passing out from the heart problems, and they had to let me go finally due to chronic illness. And that broke my heart a lot. I became really depressed and knew that I really had to do something about serious about the weight loss. Um, so then I was referred like Stuart to ABL in Stockport, and there they ask you to lose about like 10% of your body weight, and I did. I lost about 10 to 15% of my body weight, and was feeling a little bit better, but knew I had a long way to go, and just knew that without getting bariatric surgery or looking into it, that I wouldn't get further along, because you do kind of just your body just you stop losing weight even after all of the weight loss that you're trying to accomplish. And like I said, everything about it to me was this has been health related. Um, it didn't matter to me what I looked like afterwards, as long as I was healthy enough to like Stuart, get a seatbelt on, small pleasures, cross my legs again, just be able to get on an airplane without an extra seatbelt, being Vanya, or things that meant a lot to me. My operation was actually October 14th, 2019. And unlike Stuart, who he lost a lot of weight, I guess, at the beginning, I was what was considered a slow loser. Um, I had a difficult time losing for about the first 4 months, 3, 4 months, maybe a little bit longer. But if you trust the system and you trust the instructions and you stick with it, then it starts to happen for you. And when it did happen, it's been incredible. My life has changed. Um, my tablets have also been reduced. A lot of them have. And I was diabetic. I'm no longer diabetic. Blood sugar last time was 33, which I'm pleased and pleased about. Um, and it has been a year and 10 months now for me since the surgery. And I've now lost a little over 118 kilograms.
Wow.
Um, this surgery has saved my life. It's given me a new lease on life. I never want to look back and be that person again that was so depressed and in agony. And I do exercise like Stuart. I can't, don't bicycle yet, but I do walk now. And before I couldn't walk. This has allowed me to, especially during lockdown, it's been so important to get out and have 2 walks a day and just interact with nature, listen to birds, and calm you right down. And um, the food part of it, like you said, is pretty hard at first with the liquid and the pureed stage. But before you know it, I mean, they're over, and you're on to the next phase. Um, and I think, like I said, you just have to trust that it's going to work, and it actually it really does, even if you're a slow loser like I was at first. And like I say, if anybody else is like, if you got any more specific questions, I'd be glad to answer them. But I would really encourage you to stick with the program, even if it takes a while. My journey I was on the list for about 4 to 4.5 years. Um, And it was a process, but I am so glad I did it. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it anymore. I wouldn't go back. Um, it's fantastic to feel healthy and be healthy. Um, and that's about it. Thank you. Thanks so much. That's me now. Yeah, 80.1 kilograms.
Wow.
Weight on Monday. So yeah, I only see the transformation when I look at pictures too. It's because you don't recognize yourself. And I think the mind takes a while to catch up with what the body's doing. So it's only when I see pictures that I kind of think, wow, I have done this. And it's not been so bad at all. So it's a great tool. That's all I can say. And stick with the waiting through the COVID wait and because you'll be so glad you did. Thanks, everyone.